it was a bit shocking. Refugees within their own country, what did that even mean? The Tashkent Files that got me interested in the way Vivek Agnihotri would approach a story. I wish newspapers learn to do less propaganda and do what they call themselves objective reporting. I've been a journalist. I know the junk that comes in newspapers, and I know how prejudice operates in newspapers.
Namaste and a very good evening. Welcome to Citti Media. I'm your host, Citti. It has taken nearly 3 decades now for the Kashmiri Pandits to finally have their voice heard. The sad part is the world shrugged off a Hindu genocide that took place in a Muslim majority Kashmir. What's even worse is the deafening silence from a sizable section of the mainstream media, film fraternity, and human rights institutions who have not just ignored the blatant abuse minorities have had to face in the Kashmir Valley, but are also guilty to a certain degree of whitewashing Islamist terror against Hindu, Sikh, and Christian minorities in Kashmir. Today on Citti, we are joined and we are privileged to be joined by senior actor, activist, journalist, director, and theatre personality Prakash Belawadi, who has also starred in Vivek Agnihotri's movie and the recent release, The Kashmir Files. Prakash Avre, thank you so much. Namaskar, and it's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you, Sharon. It's always a privilege to talk to you.
It's always a privilege to talk to you too. First of all, I have to admit that I haven't watched the movie yet, but tonight I'm going to. What should the viewers expect from the movie, sir?
I think what you will see is not a movie that looks to score, win any awards, in film festivals. It's an act of courage. It tells a story from the perspective of the director, which is as he felt it, and so you'll find it's a raw and very hard hitting. Yeah.
Sir, I watched your video earlier today that went viral on the internet. Why do you feel that you have been indifferent towards the plight of Kashmiri Hindus?
I'm a South Indian, and that has actually meant that I've been more inclined to regional politics than to national politics. And the only time that I've connected with the national politics has been, when there is a national election and there's a general election, and also on issues of trade and of conflict with other countries. Otherwise, I have not been as deeply concerned with North Indian issues. And just to use the word North Indian is as bad as we feel when they use the word Madrasi, because North India is a very big place, and there are other parts of India that is not North India. There's the Northeast India, and there is Western India, which is not North India, and so on. And it takes some effort. There is Odisha, which is not North India, so it takes some effort to actually get these into your head correctly. I remember once I was challenged to draw a map, and I could do the map right up to Nepal, and beyond that I really got confused. I didn't know how the rest of that goes correctly, from the Northeast, from Seven Sisters, down to Bangladesh. It becomes difficult. What I mean is that it tells a story. It's a metaphor of how we are indifferent to what happens in the North. So I feel bad. I'm not offering this as an excuse. I feel bad that I didn't bother to find out. I just quit Sunday magazine at that time when this happened. And no, I was still there, actually. I had not even quit Sunday magazine. I'm not sure. Okay, it was around that time. I was just going to quit Sunday Magazine when this happened, and I just I just lost sight of it. I mean, really, that's what it was.
Why do you think it's taken so long for the international community? I mean, forget international community, even a large section of the media in India have been ignorant towards the plight of people of Kashmir until probably 2 or 3 years ago.
I don't know, Sharon. I don't know whether everybody else was ignorant, because I have come and done Googled and seen stuff. I mean, even on Wikipedia, all these many of the details that you see in the film are there. Many of the brutalities are already there, actually. So see, I'll tell you what it was. It wasn't that the news items didn't kind of leak out here and there. I think there was no narrative to put it all together somehow. I think the dominant narrative which we were all brought into at that time was that there was some, of course, there was some problem in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. There was a cricket match, that was played between India and West Indies. That one day,
Yeah.
soon after India's victory in '83, where there were Pakistani flags all over the stadium, and they were cheering West Indies, and India lost badly that match. It was a shocker and shameful thing that we could see on Doordarshan at that time. I remember all that. So something was wrong anyway. We knew that. But what was important was that we thought that, of course, there was bad stuff happening there right through the '80s too. And when these reports came of Kashmiris, we didn't use the word exodus, fleeing, by the Pandits fleeing Kashmir. I don't know if it was just Pandits, there must be others who were persecuted too. But when they were fleeing it, there was a story put out that, there was just like some threat, and these people got scared and ran away. This is the kind of story we were told. And a lot of blame was put on Jagmohan at that time. I remember that, he actually facilitated, the transfer of these frightened people, as it was told then, from the valley to Jammu. But, later, when we heard that there was refugee camps elsewhere, it was a bit shocking. Refugees within their own country, what did that even mean? So I feel bad, because we should have explored. I mean, if anybody who can call himself a journalist should have done something about this. We didn't do anything about it. So, yeah.
You're very particular about the roles that you play or the movies that you direct. What convinced you to be a part of this movie? And especially, I'm asking you this because you've also been a part of Tashkent Files, which Vivek ji had directed earlier. So what's the reason, sir?
See, when Tashkent Files happened, when we met on the set with really brilliant actors there too, Pankaj Tripathi was there, and Mithunda was there, of course. And see, when that film happened, Vivek told us on how he was going to treat it. The first day we all met, he was very generous to us. He said, I've not met, I've never seen so much talent together in one single space ever, he said. And there was Rajesh, there was, Pankaj, there was Mandira Bedi, Pallavi ji was there. And, when we were there, he said, I want to do it very differently. We wanted to create a 12 Angry Men kind of jury atmosphere there. And we were all theater people, many of them from the National School of Drama. So we were instantly comfortable with that idea he had in mind, that we could do a mise-en-scene, we could block, use that entire space, we would walk around and talk and all that. By then I had read the script, and there was this really talented girl, Shweta Basu Prasad, playing the young protagonist there. I mean, there's a technique is used even in the Kashmir Files. There's a young student who awakens to a different reality than what he had imagined. So we had all this. So it was the Tashkent Files that got me interested in the way Vivek Agnihotri would approach a story to be told visually, and the way he was ready to, like put, the search for truth above a simple, I wouldn't say simple, let me withdraw with that, about just an aesthetic consideration of storytelling, that you do a beautiful movie and that's it. I think his interest in doing a beautiful movie was subordinated a lot to his interest in actually doing a searching film, a kind of quest for the truth kind of film. So that is what really interested me. So I had the privilege, of course, of reading the first few drafts of the Kashmir Files, and we discussed it a lot. And I think Vivek and I have become very good friends. Pallavi, Vivek, and I, we consider ourselves, a set of part of a circle of trust of people who care about some things and who have common interest about some things. So that is what interested me. I mean, if he calls me again with my horrible South Indian accent to his next project, I will agree readily without thinking. Yeah.
Congratulations on that. You've put together a wonderful set of movies, and I'm yet to watch Kashmir Files, but I will give you my review, as soon as I finish watching it. But
No,
before
what I suggest to you, Sharon, is that if you when you do watch the movie, because I mean, I am saying this on a personal note, that young person that you will see on the screen there, played brilliantly by Darshan. That young person,
yeah,
to me is is you, because I've seen you from your time in college, from your just after your undergraduate, or just during your undergraduate time, and I've seen how you've been concerned, engaged, and torn between ideologies, and you've grappled with what is the real thing. And I think you'll find some answers there. So if you don't mind, I'm willing to come again after you watch the film and do a second part of this interview. We can keep this shorter, and we can do a more elaborate one tomorrow after you watch the film.
absolutely. First of all, thank you for your kind words and blessings. I'm extremely humbled. And I'm going to watch the movie, and it would be our honor to have you here again to discuss this from a slightly different personal perspective as well after I watch the movie. But before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you one question, and you may choose not to answer that as well. Um, so, a few people are also dubbing this movie as a propaganda movie that is intellectually dishonest and has a lot of biases. Um, you know, uh, and these are the people who have actively whitewashed and ignored what was happening to the Hindus or even the minorities, other minorities in the valley. So, can I seek a response from you on this?
See, I want to unpack some of those words there. First, the word bias. I think an artist is entitled to take a stand. Films are not done like reports are written in a newspaper. I wish newspapers learn to do less propaganda and do what they call themselves objective reporting. I've been a journalist. I know the junk that comes in newspapers, and I know how prejudice operates in newspapers, led by ownership, led by ideology, led by hierarchy, led by jealousy. So I know how all this happens, and I know that like journalists are given to like moralizing everybody. I'll say, like, before you actually moralize to artists who have a right to be subjective. No artist is an artist if he or she is not subjective. The thing is that if you can find truth through your search, that is the question of art. It is not actually depicting reality. It's about a search for truth. It's very difficult, if you're only a journalist, it's very difficult to understand, I think. But I will tell you this, that critics are critics. They're not artists. And critics can actually like sub-articles and edit them and do whatever they want, but a filmmaker edits his own film. A filmmaker has ultimate right on what goes out to the screen. And you can you can actually like it or dislike it. The right to interpretation is given. So if you call that the filmmaker leans towards the plight of the victims, I think it's okay. This is one. The second thing is that I'm saying, the story is being told from one side. That's what bias is, right? So I'm saying, what is the other side? Because, I want you to look at it and tell me what the other side is. Are you going to say between say a rape victim and a rapist, there are two sides to the story? I know a lot of television journalism is like this, but what is the other side? If you ask that question tomorrow, that there's an other side to the story, is the other side the Atankavadis there? Is that the other side? Is the other side the government of the erstwhile government of Jammu and Kashmir, which had a different constitution at that time? Or is the other side the government of India? What is the other side? If somebody is specific, we will talk. But I think there is the story that, some of these events are not true events. I think that needs to be met head on. If there is some way to file, a PIL and challenge these people, there should be a truth commission of some kind, and actually, you should lead. It's a criminal offense to deny the Holocaust in Europe, in many countries. So I think we should really look at people who say it didn't happen. It's bias is one thing, but it didn't happen. That's a problem. Finally, the word propaganda. Let's say you want people to be vaccinated against COVID. Then I think the government should take up propaganda to reveal this. I think if the truth is on your side, propaganda is okay. It's what you propagate that you should worry about. Propaganda itself is not the problem. It's what you use to do propaganda. If you're doing suppression of truth as art, I'm saying that is propaganda. Actually, but if you're telling the truth, how is it propaganda? And if it is propaganda, technically speaking, what is wrong with it if you're telling the truth? This is what it is for me. Yeah.
Wonderfully said, sir. My pranams to you for all the seva that you're doing. Our viewers and myself would like you and the entire crew to know that we are extremely grateful. We are extremely respectful of the work that you and the entire crew have done with this amazing movie. Thank you so much. And we urge all our viewers to go out in large numbers and support the movie and watch the movie. And please do tell your friends and family and everyone on social media about it. So thank you so much for joining us. Namaste.
Thank you.
And
Namaste.
I look forward to our conversation after I watch the movie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net.